later, but a topic gets carried through the message from point, like the topic stays with the message as we do other things, like I'm going to change the payload here. This one changes the payload to the contents of the file name this. So we learned the last couple days that Linux turns everything into files. Here I want magnetometer data. So I point it to the data file where the magnetometer data is coming out. And then that's going to give me a string. I'm going to name the string. That topic just stays with it. Remember, I named the topic X. That message gets generated every 200 milliseconds. Now I'm going to fill the message in with the contents of the file name. That came from this the file down here where storage. Here we go. And I used the one that's reading files, not writing files. So you can do ones that write files too. And this is where the topic becomes interesting, because here the topic is X. I use the topic in order to combine two messages together. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to take both X and Y and put them together. Here I'm taking that same message that's named X and I'm renaming the topic to Y and reading the Y values in. And joining them, doing arctam2, right, to convert it into radians. I also do a radians to degrees conversion. And then I dump it into a compass view and the dashboard. So there's a number of dashboard components that you can drag and drop and add here. And then we go to the dashboard and we view the UI. So be a lot easier if I take it off the network. You see it's not doing amazing, but I'm also printing the text values. These are the unscaled values, which sure makes sense to scale them. But now I'm up to debugging the values itself. What I've found playing it with the hotel is that the plane is really off. Like I have to, which north is that way. If I alter it,
where's the magnetometer on here?
it's between the Wi-Fi and the processor. There's a little.
There's three black chips. Is it a black chip?
It is the black chip next to the BMP. So there's a crystal. There's the IMU, and then there's the level shifter going away from the processor. So it's this one right here. That one right there is the magnetometer. This is a crystal magnetometer, IMU, and then that is a level shifter. This right here is the pressure temperature sensor. The silver one is the pressure temperature sensor. This is the IMU. And right next to it on the silk screen is the right-hand roll, right, that you see on there, the XYZ.
Yeah. Something's funny about this, because I doubt that the chip maker wouldn't have the axes aligned with the shape of the thing.
Well, remember the north is not is also down.
We've done testing with two other compasses.
Yeah.
So it's something, we're missing something.
We're missing something, yes. But now you have a nice live view where you can try to start debugging and looking at data, but it's now we're like the kind of everything else is out of the way. You're dealing with sensor data and
math.
That's easy.
Node-RED let you export math.
It does. So I take the whole program. So this is my program. It's kind of wonky, but I export it to a clipboard. And then I have it formatted nicely, and it's this big JSON file that represents what this drawing is. So I copy and paste that into my version control or whatever. You can have it in a library, but the library is local, so yeah. And then you can import it, right? So you can import it from the clipboard or the library. Right now my library doesn't have anything. So I could export it into my local library, delete it, have it around. You could build up libraries for people if you're distributing the disk images. So you could have a bunch of these pre-installed in your library. If you're connected to the internet, you can also go in here in settings, and there's a palette with some 2,000 different packages to load of different things with different flow graphs. Your IoT problem, right, of how do I get stuff up to the cloud, I would say this is the way to fix that. Get your stuff in a nice shape, and I mean there's Twitter, but you can...
Where's the MQTT button?
Right there.
Yeah. We're good to go.
So add a broker, right? You got your security settings right there, but add your MQTT broker and bingo.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, maybe you could refer me to like somewhere else if this is gonna take too long to answer this question, but what is the best way? So you have for the magnetometer where you specify the device file. And what's the best way to find that file? Because it doesn't seem super straightforward to find that.
The file you're reading with the data you have to censor.
It's all about, so these are IO devices, so you look in sysbus IO. The specifics, that's the reason I was looking at this, where did I do it? Was it here? Oh. I was looking at this LSIO, because that would just give me a way to just do a directory listing of IO devices, kind of broken down into manufacturer data that they provide, rather than having to go scour directories.
Right.
So it'll tell me that.
Is that how you look for like scouring directories or? Okay.
The kernel messages will give me some idea, but yeah, I go just scour the directories and find out where they got loaded at. I'm a little confused as to why my camera is not showing.
Do you still have that picture?
I think so.
Does it still work? I guess you can't use it.
I don't know about multiple clients. But it was nice to have in the dashboard the output of the camera view. I don't see the... So maybe I got an error computing in the routine. So here, so maybe this thing doesn't work super cleanly, but I think if I redeploy it, it'll probably work. This inject URL, I have to find out what my IP address is. So I had to use a little routine to try to compute what my IP address was. It may have been that when Node-RED started, I don't know if it got me a bad IP address, but this injection of the IP address didn't seem to work. I'm gonna try to redeploy. So essentially restart the server again to see if that fixes it. Did it put an IP address in here? We can get ugly and hard code it right now. So actually, you can manipulate the view with the contents of the messages. So you can make fancy websites that are dynamic. But we just want it to work. What's it? Action equals stream. Save, deploy, and reload. Did not copy. All right, I don't understand something about the template thing, but you could work on the view. That's a Node-RED issue that I don't understand the template node, but our camera is still live. And there is a way that you can embed that stream into your dashboard. I just don't know it right now. I thought I had the way, I was wrong. So we're down to our last real hour. Is this sufficient coverage of my little demo?
I think so, except, so the steps to run Node-RED is just
Open port 1880
on the browser.
in the browser, or your board.
Okay, I think I tried to open that, didn't get it, but then I went back and to Cloud9, I said sudo service Node-RED start, enter.
You shouldn't have to do that.
No? Could
But
somebody else
something may
try
have
it?
killed it.
Somebody try it and let me know. So did you go to here?
I just went :1880 on my browser.
And it just came right up.
Yeah, it took a little bit, but it got there.
It takes a while. It's starting up. No, these node things take a while to load into memory. Node's just really large.
Oh, my other window loaded as well. It just, yeah, I thought it wasn't gonna go.
Yeah. Node is just really big, so it takes a long time to load. Once it's up and running, it's the actual code that's hit as it's running is small enough that it runs pretty fast. So I installed that LSIAO thing, and you see I've got the whoa, that's no fun.
What is
Yeah.
the segmentation called?
It means that it tried to access the wrong portion of memory. Bad pointer.
Do we need a bathroom break? I need a bathroom break.
Since Node-RED seems like a cool tool, could we do a little thing real quick, just like push a button, turn the LED on, kind of like commands?
Yeah, let's do that. So, Camera Workshop. Just wanted to pull that back up again. Let's turn on an LED. So we need some way to trigger something event. So we're going to go to our dashboard and we're going to add a button to our dashboard. So let's look at what we can configure on the button. So we're going to we'll make a new UI group for it called buttons. So that you organize those in the layout by putting them in groups, and then they stay in little blocks, and it tries to fit those blocks together in that dashboard. You can also put them on separate tabs. So tabs, there's this little thing in the top left of the page that you can essentially use to flip pages. So we're gonna make a thing. We're just gonna call it what red. We'll turn on the red LED, or do you want to do green?
Red too.
So we know how to, let's see.
So I remember you.
We know how to do a file write to turn it on. The thing is, we're eventually going to want to be able to turn it on and off. We go to storage.